Welcome to the Shelf Examination Podcast, where we are reviewing items found on the shelves of our local library. This is Joe coming at you from the editing desk because this episode was actually split in half. Last week we reviewed the first Gamera movie in this trilogy of movies, and this week we're going to be reviewing the other two of them. So without further ado, let's hear what we had to say about Gamera 2 and 3 from the 90s. Let's actually move on to 1996's Gamera Advent of Legion.
Legion. We are Legion.
The Legion monster in this movie is called Legion because it's a whole bunch of little monsters that get together and become one big monster, except for one of them that's also a big monster. Yeah, okay, we're going to go with it. That's fine.
So it comes from the Bible.
In fact, by the way, I forgot to ask you. Normally asked, did you watch it in Japanese or English?
I watched it in Japanese.
Okay, I watched them in English, but in the English translation, they actually quoted the Bible verse that was from.
We are Legion, for we are many.
For we are many,
It's from Revelations.
No, it's from Matthew. It was a person who Jesus Christ healed and cast devils out of because he had multiple devils into him, put him in some swine ran down. It had nothing to do with this movie.
I do remember that, but I thought the quote was actually from Revelations. But you're right. That's where it's from.
This movie, Advent of Legion, from the very beginning, I don't know why, felt like watching Godzilla 2000 to me, the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie. It just felt like it was an attempt that didn't quite hit.
Yeah, a swing and a miss.
Yeah.
If it had connected, it would have hit it out of the ballpark, but it did not connect.
I don't know if it ever had a chance of connecting, quite frankly. It just felt off. And I don't know why or what.
It was like, the pitcher is throwing a hard ball fast and hard, and you're trying to hit it with a plastic bat.
Or you're still in the dugout. I don't know. It's just you had no chance, but they're trying hard.
It was trying hard at trying hard.
It's like the little kid coming up to bat, and everybody's like, "Oh boy, he's not going to hold back." It just didn't hit for me from the very beginning. Now there were some kind of interesting scenes in this.
There were.
One line that I liked in this one was, in order to find out about Gamera, they went to this brand new thing called the internet.
I know. Ooh.
In 1996, they were like, "Man, gotta love the internet," and I was like, "Wow, I forgot."
I know.
How the internet has been a part of our lives for a long time.
Well, ever since college.
And it hit the ground running. Well, we say hit the ground running. I remember pre-Netscape internet where it was, well, not just the dial-up. I remember telnetting from one server to another, and everything was text-based. We would use Lynx to browse. Lynx was the browser that we had, and it was all text-based. There was no... Netscape is what changed the internet and added pictures and HTML and all of that stuff. And that's where they are at in this movie. So they are at the advent of the internet.
I was watching that and having flashbacks to Captain America, or Captain Marvel, where they plugged in the computer or plugged the disc in, and everyone's like, "Oh!" And then there's the loading, the flipping, and they're like, "What do they do?" She's like, "What's going on?" And they're all excited and tense and staring. They're like, "It's loading."
There was also a scene in Angel. Do you remember Angel, the spin-off from Buffy the Vampire?
Quick, to the Angel Mobile.
He sneaks into the library at night, and he's running like 5 computers as he's going back and forth because they're so slow searching stuff up. That he's just like, "I'm going to get this one, I'm going to get this one." And I was like, I've done that.
Yeah, I remember him wishing he had Giles, because Giles just knew everything.
Yeah.
That's where you get the librarian, yes.
That's right.
That's why you need a librarian.
So let's see, I have a note on here that says, "Fight at airport pretty good." But at this time, and I literally just watched this movie yesterday. I can't remember the fight at the... Oh, wait, I remember this fight. This was where they were trying to evacuate the people, and they got all the airplanes, or all the helicopters off except for one. And this one had the girl that is tied to Gamera.
Of course.
And it also had Pretty Sassy Girl. She was back.
And she was still sassy.
She was still sassy, and she was still... who she was. She remained constant in all 3 of these movies.
Exactly. She kind of tied them together, she and the girl.
Yeah. And it was the same girl
who
was tied to Gamera as well. And this fight where Gamera is fighting the giant monster. Now, what I think is funny is this note, "Fight at Pretty Airport," is like my 3rd note on here, but it's like 45 minutes into the
it's
movie.
Halfway through the movie.
Because everything before that, where, you know what? I normally have to read the synopsis, and I forgot the synopsis.
If I just missed it, I have to ask you, did they ever cover why that particular girl, other than the necklace, was tied to Gamera?
I could not find. I think she found the necklace and it
was
bonded with her.
Okay.
And it could have just as well been anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, why her other than she found this necklace and it's just the necklace?
Okay, so synopsis for Gamera 2. A meteor lands in Japan and unleashes hundreds of insect-like legion creatures bent on colonizing the Earth. Gamera shows up to deal with the ever-evolving...
Starship Troopers.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah. No, they are very Starship Trooper-y looking. Gamera shows up to deal with the ever-evolving space adversary, but the battle may result in him losing his bond with humanity. I didn't quite pick that up on that while I was watching. I didn't see that was like a threat to it.
Yeah, that's news to me.
The alien bugs set up apparently they are drawn to radio waves, they are drawn to transmitters. That's their gag, is that they don't follow people, but we've all got cell phones on us, and they
like signal.
Yeah, they like signal.
Can't
and so
stop
that's
the
what
signal,
they're tracking.
Man. Can't
and
stop
so
the signal.
They set themselves up in the middle of a hot spot, which it happens to be in the middle of a city, and their nest is producing mass amounts of oxygen, and that's their threat, is that they're going to super oxygenate us, which is a legitimate, like, at one point a dude lights a lighter and the fire goes way high.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what would happen.
Because our atmosphere, is not just oxygen.
No, it's mostly nitrogen,
nitrogen, hydrogen, it's all mixed in there, but a lot of it is oxygen, yes.
Yeah,
but
and we need a lot of that oxygen, but they're taking it up to
flammable
toxic levels. Yeah, and so that's what the threat is.
Earth go boom.
And so they detonate the city, and Gamera goes and detonates their nest, or not that they evacuate the city, and Gamera goes and just fist down detonates their nest, and we get this image of, it's not a nuke.
No.
But it looks like a nuke.
But it looks like
exploding out from the city. How many times have we seen this image of a nuke detonating in a city and just consuming everything as it goes out? Like, it reminded me of Akira.
Oh, yes.
It reminded me of... I feel like I've seen this image 5 or 6 times. But
exactly.
That image has got to be ingrained in the Japanese psyche.
Where you see the trees go...
Yes.
Come back and the giant rings of...
T2 also did that.
T2 did it to the nth degree.
To the nth degree. Except we weren't on the ground. It was just city
airburst and
bursting around it and stuff like that. It was a cool image, but it did kind of feel...
You got the idea of the Tungus... Oh, man.
Yeah, let's pretend like we can pronounce that.
Tunguskan air explosion.
Yes.
From the... that thing from space, rock goes boom.
Yeah, the asteroid collision.
Thank you.
Yeah. In
Siberia.
Siberia, yeah.
And because we do have some film and stuff of
things exploding.
Well, and the trees going whoosh whoosh and things exploding from the shock waves and whatever. Yeah. So that very reminiscent of that.
It is. And it was a very iconic shot they worked with.
Tunguska! I can say the word. I can say the word.
Just need to give you a minute to warm up to it. You'll be
fine. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue.
I will say, at this point, though, in this movie, I realized, again, there's no B story.
Nope.
Like, we have creatures fighting the monsters, but we have
no... And we have Connection Girl, and we have no connection to them.
No. Here's what I wrote in my notes. The B story is as plain as white rice, and there's not enough A story to flavor it.
Yes.
It felt like I got a curry with twice as much rice and not enough curry in it. This movie was just unappetizing.
Yeah, it was.
But it wasn't bad. It just was too boring.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. There wasn't enough substance to make the fights matter.
No. And here's the thing. So Gamera, at this point, he was at ground zero when this blew up, and he's been cocoonized. He was supposed to be dead, but he's not dead.
He spun himself a cocoon. And the girl...
Well, he's corpseified at this point, but yeah, Connection Girl.
Connection Girl, you would think, from what we saw before, she'd be dead.
Yeah, she should be toasted, but
no, she's
not
fine. Dead.
And, in fact, she shows up with a bunch of other kids to look at the corpse of Gamera, and they
resuscitate,
pray him back to life. I don't know. There's a lot of flowy lights and stuff like that, and the kids revive Gamera. And I
remember, Tinkerbell clap, bring her back.
That's exactly what I felt like. It was 100% playing into the feel that Gamera is supposed to have, that he is a guardian of the children, and now the children are guarding him. And I imagine that for some people watching this who had good feelings about the old Gamera movies, this moment was a feel-good, big, nice moment. But as we skipped those movies, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was just...
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Then we have a second fight with the monster, and okay, this is another scene where, like you're talking about, well, you shouldn't watch it in 4K because they were hiding how bad this Power Rangers monster was. It looked like a Power Rangers monster by throwing up dust in front of it a lot. There was so much of that, but it also happened at night so that we couldn't see anything. And the whole time,
we've gotten spoiled on all the beautiful miniatures and everything from the Godzilla universe.
And all of those movies, they didn't hide the fact that they were miniatures. They leaned into it, and they didn't care. We were having a good time. In this one, I felt like they were like, we have to make this as convincing as possible. And why?
And they tried it. Again, they tried too hard, but they tried too hard, but didn't invest the budget into trying too hard.
They tried as hard as they could. I'll give them credit for trying. It just didn't land with me. And then we get this. He does this execution move where, like, he gathers a key blast from the entire Earth, which comes
spirit bomb.
Yeah, he
from
spirit
Dragon
bombs,
Ball Z,
and his chest, like, literally facets and opens up, and he blasts the monster. And I'm sitting here going, I didn't know he could do that. When could he do it?
How's he done that before?
This to me feels like another thing that came from the previous movies that everybody who was a fan of the previous movies was like, oh, they did the thing. And I'm like,
anyone else, the next generation, the kids are watching it in the 90s are going, huh?
Yeah, where did this come from? Well, okay, he can do that now. All right.
Yeah, the stormtroopers, they fly now?
Yeah, exactly. Except it came out of nowhere. It would have been,
like someone was reading Dragon Ball Z and went, "Oh, Akira Toriyama, that's a good idea, Spirit Bomb." And just like Akira Toriyama's Spirit Bomb in Dragon Ball Z, it didn't work.
I'm hoping that this was something that was done in the previous movies, and that this was done as fan service. Because if it was like you said, they just kind of inserted it out of nowhere. Once again, it failed to hit. Yeah. It just missed a little bit. And then we end.
Just like Goku's Spirit Bombs.
Oh, that's too funny. And then we end with Sassy Girl getting super preachy. Some guy is like, what happens if, Gamera's protecting the Earth, but we're destroying the Earth. What happens if we don't stop? Well, Gamera wouldn't like that. Good.
Yeah, it was like, what?
And then it ends with a musical number that was okay. It wasn't as good as the first one. It wasn't bad.
I wasn't looking up who did it.
No, but this movie, compared to the first movie, was a step down.
It was a big step down. This was the direct-to-video
felt like a step,
version.
and it was a step down in weirdly every single way.
And considering how badly we rated the first one.
Yeah, this isn't going to go great. But it's weird to me that there is not a single thing in this movie that I look to and go, well, at least they did that. Hold on. I take it back. No.
I did like the fact that they brought the original actresses back.
There was one moment. Yeah, the original actresses, that was good, but that was only good because they were in the original movie. There was one moment where the army guy, who Sassy Girl actually has like a moment of like, hey, be careful. I want you to come back. I feel a little bit for you. It wasn't romantic. It was just a
human connection.
But it was just a human connection. And he shows up at the bait or the transmitter where the nerdy guy is trying to, who we haven't even mentioned in this whole thing, but he's trying to set up a thing to draw the bad guy, to draw the Legion so that they can be attacked all in one place. And one of these Legion comes in and he does the bad mother execution. Like, he takes the cell phone.
Samuel L. Jackson to do it.
Oh, it was so good. He takes a cell phone, throws it in front as bait, and the monster takes the bait, and then he comes up behind with the gun right behind the neck, pow, 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 and then he shoots it a couple times, reloads, points it at it, and the monster doesn't move. He's like, yeah, that's right. It was a cool.
It was cool, yeah.
That was the only redeeming thing this movie had.
Samuel L. Jackson moment.
Yeah, it was Asian Samuel L. Jackson. It was the coolest moment of this entire movie.
30 seconds.
It lasted 30 seconds. But if you're going to clip any part of this movie,
clip that
and put it on YouTube to steal views, that's the scene. It was neat. It was cool, and I can't recommend any other part. The monster looked like he was a recycle from Power Rangers.
Yes.
I don't even know if Power Rangers existed. No, it did. Super Sentai's been around since then.
A long time.
So it felt like a recycled Power Rangers movie that they threw up a bunch of dust in front of to hide that it was a recycled
is it Power Rangers or Kamen Rider, one of the two.
Yeah, it was not a great movie, but it's nothing compared to what's following.
The one I could not finish.
Let's put it on the ranking. So how do we rank?
Just below.
Yeah, I know where you're putting it. So you're actually putting it below Godzilla Raids again.
Which
so
is
Gamera,
saying something considering how much I hated.
From 1996. And it's interesting to me that the previous Gamera movie was in 1995. This one was in 1996. It was rushed out.
Yeah.
It felt rushed out.
Yeah.
I'm actually putting this one at the bottom as well because I feel like Rodan deserves a little bit more credit than this one.
Yeah, because the effects were good. They were just, the story wasn't great.
No, there was no story.
In Rodan. They just, meh.
Well, and in the original Rodan, we did have a little bit of story.
Yeah.
We had the guy, the murder. I can still remember the story of these guys in the mines in the first half of Rodan. And even though the second half of it didn't care about it, I remember that part. So I will say that Rodan definitely sits on Gamera Legion. But let's talk about now Gamera 3 Revenge of Iris.
Do we have to?
Let's go over the synopsis here. Gamera's ties to humanities have been severed. Sorry, did that happen? I don't remember that happening.
I don't remember that happening.
As the bird enemies, Gyros reemerge. Nagamine and Asagi, I think that's Nagamine. That is pretty sassy girl and connection girl.
Asagi, yeah.
Investigate as
I remember their names.
As an orphan girl named Ayana discovers a new creature named Iris. Ayana seeks revenge on Gamera for the death of her family. I have much fewer notes about this movie.
Yeah,
I did not have much to say about it.
Was it Gamera's fault that her family died, or is she just blaming him because he was fighting the bad guys?
Okay, you didn't. Okay, so you didn't finish the movie.
I did not.
They actually do explore that later on in the movie. But the majority of this movie, they're setting the stage of this family that has been broken by kaiju fights. Mm-hmm. And they're setting the stage that these kaiju fights have collateral damage, that they are actual people.
So basically this movie is Gundam Seed Destiny.
Or it's the original Godzilla again, with the mother clutching onto her children and stuff like that. And in fact, they keep this theme going because in the first fight, in the first Gamera fight, he has a fire blast and there are people, citizens being thrown up by the blast in the fire. And I'm like, man, never seen that.
No,
All of these movies, a kaiju movie is first and foremost, a good kaiju movie is first,
Nice caveat.
A good kaiju movie is first and foremost fun, which means that sometimes you kind of have to come up with some serious bending over backwards for nobody got hurt. Those were all just cards that got flipped, but all the people got out. It's like in Avengers, the first Avengers movie, when the monsters are destroying the city and they're evacuating the people and they're having a hard time doing it. But somehow, whenever the monster shots land, there's no civilian there.
Yeah, we got him out.
We got them out all the time.
And Hulk never smashed a building that had people in it.
There were no people in it. And when a monster went through the building, it's fine because there were no people.
The building is already empty.
Must have been. They did not do that in this movie. They leaned into the human and collateral damage for the first quarter of the movie. And then they never mentioned it again.
You mean it could have gotten... anyway, that's about as far as I got.
Right. They were leaning into this idea of kaijus have actual cost to them, and then they forgot to finish with that. And for as preachy as the previous movies have been, the fact that they forgot to get preachy in the second half somehow made it worse.
You're right.
Like, if you got a theme,
goodness.
stick with it. Now, mind you, this girl, Ayana, who finds this monster and raises it, and it's fueled by her revenge because her family was killed by Gamera in a previous attack. Yes, she keeps that theme going. But even at the end we finally have this fight with Gamera and Iris sucks her in, and while she's inside Iris, she has this moment where she questions whether her hate was justified, and she questions whether it was Gamera that destroyed her family, or whether it was her. She's got a little survivor's guilt going on, and she questions, and she comes around to the fact that maybe her anger and whatnot is misplaced. So they explore,
it is Gundam Seed Destiny.
Yeah, they explore those themes in there, but that's about it, and it's not. So
I didn't miss much by calling it quits.
Not really. After this initial fight where they're fighting with people around them and people are dying, all the rest of the fights, that never happens again. And in fact, in this last fight, they're in like an airport terminal and there's nobody around for miles. They can do whatever the heck they want.
They spent all the extras budget in the first scene.
Except there were people there. The people there are the characters that are, we got our girl, and then we've got this strange artsy guy who is spouting exposition, we see him, you probably saw him for a second, but he really comes into his own in the second half, and he is thoroughly unlikable.
Oh, yes, I did meet him.
Okay.
I did not like him.
No. In fact, I would say there are no likable characters in this entire movie. There was nobody in this movie who I liked. Yeah. I could not root
I've
for
already sat
anybody
through a
in this
couple of
movie.
these movies like that. I just can't force myself to watch another one with characters I hate.
This movie was not fun. And in fact, the Gamera fight at the end, I forgot, there was a thing at the beginning where we find a Gamera graveyard.
Yes.
And this dude, exposition boy, which I don't know where he gets his information from. He's pulling it out of his head. But he says that those were the vessels who got rejected before Gamera got accepted, or I don't even know. They set this thing up with a Gamera graveyard that they never pay off.
No.
Okay? They set up.
See, I was under the impression, watching it in Japanese with the subtitles, that was a graveyard of ex-Gameras
that that Gamera can lose.
Yeah,
and they were setting stakes. That's what I thought that they were doing.
Yeah, it was like these are his ancestors, and he's finally kind of the culmination of their will.
That's what I thought they were setting up.
Yeah.
But then they undo that with Exposition Boy saying, no, they were the failed vessels and he's the true Gamera. Where did this come from? Why? So we got this final fight. It's in the aircraft. A part of the aircraft hangar falls onto Exposition Boy, and he has this moment of like,
not sad.
He literally looks up at, and I don't remember exactly the line, but it was something like, "Oh, this is so scary," with that same tone as he gets squashed flat. He was like happy to be scared. This dude made no sense. And the worst thing was, I wasn't
he's riding a roller coaster. I'm happy to be scared.
Yeah, I wasn't even happy that he was gone. It wasn't. I couldn't care about him enough to even be happy that he was gone. Oh, he was so milquetoast.
Oh no!
That I couldn't be happy or sad that he was gone. I didn't know what to feel.
And this is why we're pushing all three of these together.
We have this scene where Gamera, he's pinned against a wall by Iris, who is grown now and is giant and stuff like that. And he has to like fire off his own arm.
Yeah.
And then I
can just imagine that. Oh my gosh.
Right. Oh no, and it was bad gore and everything. It wasn't even that good a gore. But the worst part is,
the gore
next
was
scene,
not good.
Like they never show his severed arm. They never show the loss of that in the battle, and it doesn't slow him down. For all I knew, he just grew one back on the spot.
Oh my gosh.
Because they don't really point out the fact that now he's fighting with one arm. He just finishes the fight in like 2 seconds.
No,
it's
I will
weird.
Say, for people who are like monster movie connoisseurs or really like the blood action, the blood effects in these movies were awful.
Yeah.
Not because, there was so much blood. No, you could look at the blood and you could tell, well, they didn't mix that cornstarch right.
No.
It was lumpy and gross. And I'm like, okay, either that's coagulated blood that is freshly spouting out of him,
or they screwed that up.
Screwed it up really badly.
And then after the final fight, and I got to tell you this part, we have more of the flying monsters coming around. So Iris was apparently one of the flying monsters, except she wasn't because she was nothing like them whatsoever and hatched out of an egg. But we also have the flying monsters around. But we haven't done a thing with them. The gyros or gyros.
Yeah, they just suddenly come back?
At the end of the movie, these monsters apparently have been terrorizing the entire globe. But once Iris gets destroyed, they decide to all converge on Tokyo. And Gamera steps forward and the movie ends. It's a cliffhanger ending that drops you off the cliff like a turd.
So you're saying it's like Empire Strikes Back?
Oh my goodness. They were, except they were setting it up for a sequel that this
happened.
Movie was so bad it killed its own sequel. Now I did do some research on this one. Apparently this movie debuted at various film festivals in America and was well received by critics. Apparently the snobby nerds liked the idea of a more grounded and gritty and realistic monster movie, but once it got to the public was like, no thank you, and nobody watched this movie, and it killed any hopes of any further Gamera movies at all.
This is why I don't always trust movie critics.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they what now?
I can believe that people want, more gritty realism. They want more seriousness. But
in a kaiju movie?
Yeah, the public does not want that. The public wants to go to a movie, taste some delicious popcorn, and feel good. And this movie did not make me feel good.
If I want that, I will go watch Schindler's List or something, or Hamburger Hill or something.
Life is Beautiful. Life is Beautiful will give you the highs and the lows.
There's a reason why these got those won Oscars.
Yes.
If I want something like that, I will go try and watch a realistic historical type movie.
Yeah.
It will not be a kaiju movie.
No, if we're watching a kaiju movie, I want to see stupid fun, and this movie was not it. It was stupid, but it wasn't fun. I did not enjoy this movie. It did not make me feel good. I don't know if I'm ever going to go back and rewatch Gamera Guardian of the Universe again, but I will say the later movies made it feel a lot better. I did not love it the first time I watched it, but I feel like I could go back and watch it now with newfound appreciation. But I gotta just ignore part 2 and 3, like they just do. This is a show where a giant turtle can pull his legs in and have rockets fire out of the hole, and they were like, "We got to figure out how to make this gritty and realistic."
No,
people.
No.
This is like McDonald's introducing a $8 burger. You guys are missing the point of who you are.
It's like, what?
You are cheap food. You are cheap fun. Let's just have that fun.
You are not filet mignon.
You are not filet mignon. Stop trying to be filet mignon. Yeah, this movie so landed wrong and got worse and worse and worse. So yeah, you didn't miss anything by not watching it.
I feel better about myself.
The thing is, though, I feel bad because I wanted to like.
Yeah, I did. I wanted.
Everybody
to like
loves
him.
Gamera. This character is huge in Japan. It's almost as huge as
There's actually
Godzilla.
a song. Do you know who I am? Because I'm big in Japan. Yes, I'm big in Japan.
There are a lot of kids who love Gamera.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it's because of the older movies.
It's definitely because of the older movies. And it's one of those things where now I do kind of want to go back and watch the older movies.
We just didn't cover them because we don't have them.
We don't have them in the collection, but this gave me a desire to go and watch them because if people love Gamera as much as they love
Gamera, something better out there.
This ain't why. Yeah.
But our next movie, the 1999, no, it was 98.
It came out in 1999, but for the most part, I call it Godzilla 2000.
It couldn't have been.
You are correct. It came out Okay, so this is why I was confused. 1998, we get the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, and that is the next one on our list because, doggone it, it is in our collection. But there was a Godzilla 2000 that was it was almost a reaction to this one where they were like, let's reclaim Godzilla.
Let's rehash this.
Just 2 years later.
Yep.
However, I don't think that one is that one's not in our collection, unfortunately. Yeah, everybody had high hopes for this movie at the time. I think going into this movie,
Iguanazilla just wasn't quite as good.
Yeah, going into this movie, a lot of people were excited because, first of all, this was 1998.
And it's an American Godzilla movie.
Yes, there weren't a whole lot of imports at the time. No. There weren't a whole lot of Godzilla movies that came to American theaters. So this was a Godzilla movie in American theaters.
And it was like the height of Matthew Broderick's movie career.
Well, this was also after the first Jurassic Park.
Yes.
So we knew that computer graphics could do some amazing
really
things.
Cool. And it had a stellar cast. You had Hank Azaria, a bunch of other things.
It had a lot going for it. And so I think that a lot of people going into the movie theater actually had high hopes for it.
This is going to be really cool.
Maybe time has been kind to Godzilla 98, and Iguanazilla. We will discuss that the next time.
We will rewatch it and see with hindsight and see how it looks.
Absolutely, but that'll be for our next episode.
Yes. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Joe.
And we invite you to do some shelf examination of your own at your local library.
Thank you very much for listening.